Welcome back to the Ross Bolin podcast. I am your host, Ross Bolin, and today I am joined by one of my funny friends, David Ruff of Washed Media and the Circling Back podcast. Dave, how are you?
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, RBP Nation, for having me back.
Of course, dude.
Glad to be one of your funny friends.
You are.
You've got some unfunny friends, but
They're out there.
they are out there.
I don't invite them on the show.
No, they wouldn't be good. They're not funny like me.
Yeah, got to do comedy on the podcast.
Hey, which camera am I buzzing?
So, yeah, we're in the new studio for the first time together. You've never been in the upgraded studio with the Italian brick and the medieval Belgian wood panels.
The Italian brick looks better than I imagined.
It's great, right?
Yeah, like was this from?
We don't know
Milano,
what region of
Capri?
Italy. They wouldn't tell us. It's
It
just
looks northern, so I was wondering if it's like Tuscan in nature, but yeah,
maybe you know better than I.
Yeah.
You've been there across the pond,
I have.
whereas I have not. I've only bought brick from there. Yeah. To answer your
by
question, the camera directly in front of you, and then that camera. If you look at this camera, it can't see you at all.
Okay, I just want to buzz the right lens when
Yeah.
I make a funny comment.
Yeah, it took me about 3 weeks to get used to not. I kept looking at the camera that doesn't see me at all, and it was pretty awkward. But yeah, we've got that going for us. If you want to watch today's show, go to youtube.com/@the-Ross-Bolin-podcast. I've got some questions today
Good.
to open things up on a negative note.
Oh no.
Do you feel like you've lost a step in your old age?
Ooh. I thought you were going to say, like, do you think Luke is going to leave the Mavs? We can get to that later. No. Yeah. Well, yes and no. I do have trouble with memory
Yeah.
short term. I don't know if that's related to my minimal cannabis use, but it could be. I don't think so. I think it's just natural. It's not horrible, but like we were doing our game show today. Randy, the one that he does for us.
Yeah.
And the question was like, who played Jackie Robinson in 1942, the movie? And I knew it was Chadwick Boseman. I knew it, but I couldn't think of his name. And I was like, this is insane that I don't know. And I was like, who's the Black Panther guy?
The late great Chadwick Boseman, right? He's
Yeah. He died tragically.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I am losing a step there. Physically, and not to brag, I feel about as good as I ever have. I'm a healthier person than the me you knew many years ago.
In college, yeah. Well, that was both of us
Yes.
living a bad life.
And all the way through like my 20s, and I just, never ate well and, drank a lot on weekends.
Too much
Now,
Matt's El Rancho.
Too much Mats. Every Thursday was a little much. Could have maybe moved that to monthly. But
Hey,
no.
at least you didn't put on 60 pounds. Because I did.
Dude,
Do you not remember that?
when you post Bill Chungus pics, I'm not kidding. It always catches me so off guard because I'm like, dude, I don't remember Ross being this big.
That's because you saw me every day.
I know. It's crazy.
It's like with your kid, right? Like when you've got a 2-year-old now.
Yes.
And by the way, the reason I brought all this up is I'm definitely getting dad brain.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Dad brain, dad
brain, and I'm not talking about oral sex, David. I'm talking
no.
about I am just slower to remember things. My reaction time is plummeting. I'm falling apart, man. But yeah, when I right now I have a 3-week-old. Okay, he turns 1 month old on Friday, which I used to mock parents for the monthly. Now it's like, no, man, I'm like charting the days here. But the point is, if I come to the office for 7-8 hours and go home, like his face has already changed.
Yeah.
And just missing even that little bit of time, I can tell the difference. So like,
Dude.
When you were seeing me every day in the office, you don't notice that I was packing on the pounds, but I was really, really packing on the pounds.
I left town for 3 nights, and I got back Sunday, and it was like a somewhat different kid. Like his vocabulary had grown. He somehow in those 3 days learned like how to put lotion on his hands and how to like rub his knees and rub his elbows. Like,
What?
dude, I'm like,
To keep from getting ashy?
yeah, basically. I was like, and he goes, and he can say lotion. And I'm like, when did you learn this?
Yeah.
I'm like, did you learn all this when I was gone? Like, am I somehow like inhibiting your development?
Well, this is the other piece of the whole dad brain getting older thing, being in my mid-30s. Like, I don't, like, you truly cannot teach an old dog new tricks. I'm not learning shit anymore. I don't feel like I'm getting sharper. And for the first, like, I want to say 30 years of life, I would, even with the alcohol and the eating like shit and living terribly, I was still like, I was on top of my game mentally somehow. And I
Yeah.
mean that from like a sharpness standpoint, not a mental health standpoint. Things weren't good in that realm. But now it's like I slip, man. And my stepdaughter, she'll go to her dad's house for 5 days and she'll come home and like she'll have taken a cognitive leap
Yeah.
with a whole fucking new bunch of vocabulary. And it's really mind blowing. It really is.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And like, it's funny you mentioned like you would make fun of people who were like, "Oh, happy 1 month or 2 month," and now I'm that guy.
You
I
have to be.
completely get it. Like everything that I used to roll my eyes at, now I'm just like, it melts my heart now.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, my tea is just tanking.
Last week I had to apologize because I remember like we have a buddy who he's a few kids deep, and I remember a few years back I was texting him and it was like 7:30 and he said he was going to sleep. And I was like, what a loser.
Yeah.
And now I'm in bed by 7:38 every single night. As quickly as I can get to bed, I'm in bed. Like the kids go to sleep, I'm in the bed because I'm fucking wiped. And
Yeah,
it's just there's no energy there.
That's an area that I've gotten better at. It's lately it's 10 p.m. because normally I'm having to watch. We're doing a Love Island pod, which is trash TV. It's actually pretty good though.
Is it on Netflix?
No, it's on Hulu.
Hulu.
Love Island UK. And it's very entertaining, but it's every night.
It's like their
So-
dating reality TV show, right?
Yeah.
Or what's the premise?
Okay, so it's Love Island UK, so it's all English people, and they're at this like really dope house with a pool and great patio scene in South Africa, and it's guys and girls, and they bring them in and they choose who they want to couple up with, and then they do like every other night recouplings, and people get voted off, and it's the same people, but they introduce bombshells, so like basically smoking hot pieces of ass, male and female.
Just show up and wreck shop?
Just hunks of beef, just dudes ripped up. Yeah. And it's quite entertaining. But
Sounds sexual.
the twist is, and they just did this, so if you're not caught up,
Skip forward
Skip
30
forward.
seconds.
they're going to Casa Amor. So they take the girls, the 6 girls, they go to a different house, and the guys stay there, and they bring in 6 new guys for those girls and 6 new girls for the guys who stayed behind, and they record everything, obviously, because it's a show. And then apparently they're going to show, everyone gets to see the footage. So you'll know if the person you've been like hooked up with for the last 4 weeks was running around on you.
Skeezing with the new meat?
Skeezing with the new meat.
Surely
That's what we're calling today's pod.
they have to test these people for STDs, right? Before they get
Yeah.
to go on Love Island, right? Because otherwise,
sure.
I feel like it would just be like everybody's leaving here with chlamydia,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Syphilis Island doesn't
Yeah.
hit quite the same. Famously killed Al Capone.
Al Capone died from syphilis?
I think so.
I feel like there's a lot of famous people throughout history.
I think it was one of those things where it made you eventually like lose your mind.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
bad deal.
And it's kind of like COVID where like, they don't mark you down for dying from syphilis.
Oh,
They
yeah.
put some other shit to make your relatives feel better.
Yeah, yeah.
But really it was syphilis.
No. And syphilis was famously leaked from a lab,
Yeah.
folks.
In Wuhan. Back to aging. I have to wear carpal tunnel wrist and hand guards to sleep now. Does that turn you on? That do you like?
Like, do they look like little like rollerblade wrist?
They
wrist
look like
gloves?
UFC
No.
boxing gloves. Yeah, I'm dead ass serious. Because if I don't, I roll up my hands in my sleep, or so I'm doing something weird in my sleep, and then when I'm like writing on the whiteboards for the show or whatever, like it hurts like hell, and it's in my thumb pads. You know what I'm saying? You ever dealt with this? You seen this? Have you heard about this?
No, but
Good for you, man.
you know what gets me?
What?
I tend to sleep on my side, and I wake up probably every other night with a completely dead arm, and it always I can't go back to sleep until I get it back, just to prove that I'm like not going to lose that arm forever.
My wife does this.
I hate it. It always ruins my night's sleep, dude.
I'll look over and she's sitting there shaking her arm like this,
Dude, Alyssa,
trying to get the sensation back into it.
I'm like going back and forth just with this thing flopping around. She's like, "What are you doing?" thinks I'm doing something dirty. I'm like, no. Arm's dead again.
Yeah, it happens.
Just go back to bed.
Do you utilize an eye mask when you sleep?
No, I need to though.
I'm in that game now too.
Okay.
Also not the sexiest thing, but it's effective. We don't have good window treatments in my home. We haven't even done like the downstairs and shit, and the ones in my master are just whatever the people before had, and it's like bamboo shutters. Not shutters, but just a bamboo like thing, like it just hanging there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't keep the sunlight out.
Dude, mine's the same way.
It sucks.
There's certain nights when the moon is hitting right that it's very bright in there, and
Well, you know what they say, the stars at night are big and bright deep in the heart of Texas.
and we are kind of in the heart of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm afraid that I'm about to order a sleep mask or an eye mask.
They're phenomenal, dude.
Okay.
That's my recommendation from one aging liberal douche to another.
Isn't yours? Thank you. Isn't yours just like a leather mask though that you like happen to already have?
Yeah, it's actually a full facial leather mask, and there's just a hole.
You can put
right
a ball
here
in there.
where my mouth is. It's just a hole. Well, you could put whatever you want in there, I guess.
Yeah,
theoretically,
anything.
I don't put a ball
It's your mouth.
You know what I'm
you
saying?
choose to do with your mouth behind closed doors.
because it's your mouth.
your mouth.
Yeah, it's weird, but right now you have a 2-year-old, which I have experience with.
Remind the people at home that this level of comedy has a child at home.
And I have a 3-week-old, which you have experience with. We're like
I do.
the roles have somehow reversed. This is one of the strange things about step parenthood, is you get to see what's coming a little bit.
Yeah. But you get to see it full life cycle. So it's like you get to go from, oh, now it's just crying and it's just mad at me all the time, to like, oh, it smiled at me. And then it's like, oh, it developed a personality.
Yeah.
And now it likes me. And then maybe when it turns 2, it doesn't like you as much for some days.
Becomes a tiny terrorist.
Yeah, it likes to push you out of the room and say, no, Dad, I want Mama. And you're
Dude.
like, well, all right, I'll fuck off.
The attitude that they develop
It's amazing.
and the shit that they'll say it's just like absolutely gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, like that, like getting kicked out of the room. I can't tell you how many times my stepdaughter has been, like, I've been trying to do some parenting, like comfort her. Even recently when my wife's feeding the baby, I had to like step in and go and lay down in my stepdaughter's bed with her to try to get her to fall back asleep. And she just like rolls over and looks at me and she's like, Ro, mine don't want you. I want mommy. And I was just like, but I'm doing my best here, kid.
She calls you Roro?
Yeah. It's like actually a really tight nickname. I enjoy it.
Yeah, my son calls our dog Randy Rah-Rah.
See?
Yeah.
It's because they can only handle so many
Randy's
syllables
tough.
at first.
Randy's tough.
Yeah.
Not a kid, you know?
Randy.
Rah-Rah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Not to share my stepdaughter's personal information on the show, but Dave's kid was actually her first kiss last year.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he was the first.
Yeah, the nanny sent us a photo, and I was like, son of a bitch, I'm going to have to keep my eye on this horny little Dave clone for the rest of my life, aren't I?
Did that bother you? Like,
No.
Did you hope that it would be like somebody else? Like
No,
somebody you didn't know?
I was much happier that it was somebody I'm familiar with.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, not a stranger, you know?
He's a flirty feller.
He is. I love that little guy, though.
Yeah.
He came to her
he's-
birthday party, her 4th birthday
that was
party.
lit.
A few weeks ago. Yeah, well, I haven't talked about that even because I was off on waiting for the baby to be born,
Oh, yeah.
leave or whatever. But we had 3 ponies and a full-grown horse in my backyard,
And an old man smoking cigs.
and then their caretaker was this old, horny man.
Yeah.
He just wanted the moms to ride the horses. That was the giveaway. I was
yeah,
like, okay, guy.
That guy lives for getting a mom up on that horse.
Like you gotta calm down. But yeah, I walked out front at 9 a.m. and there's this old timer just ripping heaters in my front yard with all these horses he's unloading from a trailer. And just for the record, when my wife presented this idea, in the back of my mind, what I was trying to avoid is a repeat of her 3rd birthday where I had to shell out $1,000 for us to have 33 people at the aquarium. Which is it's not like, I say aquarium and it sounds like, oh, that's really tight. I could see how that would be expensive. No. This is in a shopping center, a strip mall.
Oh, no.
And it's called the Aquarium, and it's not the restaurant.
It's not the bar on 6th Street.
Not the bar on 6th Street. It's just it's the most seemingly illegal version of an aquarium and zoo you could possibly imagine.
Because like the Dallas Aquarium is sick.
Yeah,
like,
this ain't
is,
that.
Honestly, if you could get that for $1,000 on those kids, worth it.
Dude, if it was like the Houston Zoo, totally down. But this is one of the lame things about Austin. We don't have good museums and zoos and shit. Like Dallas has that stuff. Houston has that stuff. But Austin,
Yeah.
nah.
There's some good, there is a museum down there.
Like the Bob Bullock?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, but it's like, it's pretty minimal.
Look, I'm a very dumb man. I don't know what I'm looking. I just go in there. I'm like, wow, somebody fucking made this.
Texas history, man.
Very cool. This
Yeah.
is crazy. And then I'm good.
I grew up going to the Houston Museum of Natural Science with my grandma, and I love the dinosaur bones. Like the T-Rex.
Yeah, the bones always play.
I'm all about that shit. But back to aging. You went to Las Vegas this weekend. That had to have been an absolute fucking beating.
Yeah, it was honestly the most responsible Vegas trip I've had in my life. And
Like for you personally or for like the whole squad?
the whole squad, definitely. But me personally, like as far as getting to bed, I was lame, but I still partied. But
That's the most
I went to bed.
middle-aged statement of all time. I was lame. I still partied.
Yeah, God dang it. Look, I was in bed. I'd made the mistake of going 3 nights, which is dumb. I'm normally only 2.
Yeah, that's tough.
But night 1, I was like, okay, I'm at that point I was the oldest guy on the trip, and I was like, I'm not gonna blow it out this night. I'm going to bed. I went to bed after dinner, so like 11:30. Woke up the next morning. We're 2 hours behind in Vegas,
Right.
and I'm so used to getting up at 6:30. I'm up at like 5 a.m. in Vegas.
God.
And so this is a hardo move, and I've been called out for it on circling back, but I was just like, fuck it. I went downstairs, ate breakfast, and went to the gym and did like a real, walked through a workout, basically, but just do something.
It's a responsible adult move.
It is. And I felt lame doing it. And then I ended up doing it the next morning, and I was surprised because I woke up feeling surprisingly good because I kind of got after it Friday. And then Saturday was the main event, and Sunday rolled around and I felt okay. And I think it's just a mix of decent sleep, maintaining some healthy habits, and drinking the same thing the whole time, not mixing, not going like red wine with dinner, then ripping some ranch waters, then pivoting over to like a Guinness. Just keep it simple. Keep it clear.
It's one of the big issues with Vegas, with NOLA. New Orleans is similar for me, or was similar for me back when I still drank. There's such a variety to pick from. You feel like you have to have all these different Las Vegas-y drinks and get yourself as fucked up as you possibly can, basically, because you're in the city that makes it's like in the air. We both went to school at Texas State. You remember that feeling in driving back into San Marcos? There's just something wrong with that zip code 78666 that just makes you feel like you need to get fucked up to the nth degree.
Sure.
That's what Vegas and New Orleans do. And then you don't realize this when you're younger, but mixing all that shit, having red wine at dinner, then pounding shots at the bar, then throwing back whiskey drinks, that's really, you're crushing yourself. It's fucking awful.
Yeah, and I got to mention, I lost money. I did not lose that much money.
What'd you do gambling-wise? What'd you play?
Blackjack, craps table, and a little roulette.
Craps is my favorite, dude. It's so much fun.
I relearn it every time I go to Vegas because I always forget.
Back to the dad brain, yeah.
I do only the simple bets.
Yeah, me too.
Bet and pass line or whatever. And, there was something, I was rolling the dice and I was hot and I rolled out, first roll was I rolled a 7 and I was like, fuck. And then they were no, that's good on the first. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, shit, I did it. Fuck yeah.
And it's fun because it's fun to make people money.
Yeah, for some reason it is.
Yeah, and it's even if you don't know them.
It's more fun when you don't know them, I want to say.
Yeah.
I enjoy the camaraderie that can be established at a craps table filled with random drunks.
Yes.
That's the good stuff.
It is.
That's the good stuff. Well, I'm glad you had fun and made it back in one piece. Today's episode is brought to you by Z-Biotics. If you've ever found yourself out at a dinner or a social event stressing over how that drink or two is going to make you feel the next morning, you are not alone, and Z-Biotics is here for you. Z-Biotics is a probiotic drink that breaks down the byproduct of alcohol most responsible for rough mornings after drinking. You just drink one of these little bottles of Z-Biotics like I'm holding in my hand right here before your first drink of the night. Then drink responsibly, of course, and enjoy your evening. Then get a good night's sleep and crush the next day feeling refreshed and ready to dominate. Z-Biotics is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. This is real science that actually works. There are no random plant extracts or off-the-shelf ingredients, and it has been rigorously tested by the FDA and is FDA compliant for safety. Plus, they've got a 100% money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied with the results. Enjoy yourself without stressing over the next morning. Get 15% off your first order of ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic by clicking the link in the description of this episode, and be sure to use code RBP at checkout or go to zbiotics.com/RBP, and that'll get you 15% off your first order as well. That's zbiotics.com/RBP for 15% off your first order, code RBP. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can simply scan the QR code on your screen to access our discount. It's that easy. zbiotics.com/RBP, code RBP for 15% off your first order. All right, in sports news.
Needed that in Vegas, by the way.
Yeah, you could have used that. Spring training currently going on in baseball. We're going to go over them, but how do you feel so far about all the new rules in Major League Baseball this season, Dave?
Have not watched much spring training.
It's typically pretty uneventful, as you don't get all the starters and your veterans out there most of the time.
You might get one of your new pitchers throwing a couple innings,
right,
working on stuff. But pitch clock, is that the main one? What are we talking about here?
Pitch clock is the probably the. I mean, I get there's really a few. The pitch clock. Okay, so now if you're a baseball person, you haven't been paying attention in the offseason because your team didn't win the World Series or pick up one of the best pitchers in the game like the Rangers did.
Yay!
There's a 30-second timer between batters and a time limit between pitches. So after receiving the ball from the catcher or umpire, pitchers are required to begin their motion within 15 seconds with the bases empty, or within 20 seconds with runners on base. And if they don't, the penalty is that they are charged with an automatic ball, which is weird. And in addition to that, pitchers are only permitted 2 disengagements where they step off the rubber or throw over to first base, 2 of those per plate appearance, which is kind of a lot, I feel like, to keep in your mind.
Yeah, it's
right?
a lot. You're putting a lot on the pitchers. This is something on paper I like because, hey, speed up the game, cool.
Good for the game,
but,
right?
like, hearing you read that, I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, dude, this is going to kind of suck.
It's a little bit. I'm torn so far. I watched probably half of 2 separate Astros spring training games so far, right? And first of all, you can tell both hitters and pitchers are still trying to get used to it. And like I said, you don't have your full team out there during spring training. You usually don't have all your veterans, and then certainly not playing the full game. So even when the season starts, it's going to take a few weeks for these guys to get used to all this shit. They also have pickoff limits. Pitchers are limited to a maximum of 2 pickoff attempts per plate appearance. If they attempt a third pickoff throw and they don't get the runner out, it's an automatic balk, and all the runners move up one base.
Yeah, and I think we've already had a spring training game that ended on something.
It ended
like
on a
that.
batter clock.
Was it a batter clock?
Yeah, the batter
Okay.
clock. He had 2 strikes, and so the batters are now, they share responsibility to keep the game moving. They have to be in the batter's box and ready for the pitch by the time the clock reaches 8 seconds. So this dude had 2 strikes, didn't get in there within 8 seconds, was assessed a third strike, which is the automatic penalty if you're not in there within 8 seconds, and the fucking game ended like that, which was obviously pretty upsetting for everyone involved. But you have to imagine this won't happen all that often in the regular season. Also, batters can only call timeout once per plate appearance. It's going to be weird, man, because like one of the, Astros best players, Jose Altuve, Astros legend, he is the most fidgety motherfucker. Like he steps out of the box, like undoes both gloves, like adjusts every single thing that he's wearing.
He's got to adjust the wire.
He's got to adjust the wire for his buzzer too. So it's just like there's so much to keep a track of if you're Jose Altuve. And now he's doing all that in the batter's box, and you can tell he's like trying to do it as quickly as he possibly can before a pitch comes.
Oh man, is he done? Is he washed?
I doubt it. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay. He's the best hitter in the game.
They also banned the shift, so you can no longer shift all your infielders over to one side. It says at the start of each pitch, teams must have at least 2 infielders on either side of second base, with all 4 positioned on the infield dirt. You can't even have your heel in the grass. You got
don't hate that as much. As somebody who had to root for Joey Gallo for a number of years, who I do like, and watch the shift absolutely just torch his stats.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it because we limit in other sports where people can be and how long they can be in a certain place. It doesn't bother me because it would be weird if you just had everybody. It was really weird.
It was really weird
to watch.
It's just
especially
gonna
in person.
It's just going to take some getting used to. But yeah, it would always be funny when they zoom out, like if you're watching the game on TV and you'd see every single fucking player is now on the left side of the field. There's nobody in right field. There's
Yeah.
nobody at second base. Like everybody has moved over. I like this one. I don't have a problem with it like I do with the pitch clock and the hitter. But that's the thing. Like you were saying, I feel like shorter games are probably good for the sport overall. Like the two Astros games I referenced, both have been just over 2 hours long. Like the first one was 2 hours and 7 minutes. The next one was like 2 hours and 13 minutes, which is like, it's like cutting it close to soccer match, like length, which is wild.
Yeah.
But nobody, and I mean nobody wants to watch a 4.5, 5 hour, 6 hour baseball game. It's hell when that happens.
No, and like as somebody wants to take his kid to a game, and I know we're not going to, probably if I take a 3-year-old to a game, we're not going to make it through 9 innings. I'd like to make it more than like 2.
Right.
I'd like to say we saw most of the game.
Right, for sure. Try to get to the 7th is like the ultimate goal for parents, I feel
Follow
like.
me.
So it's also a double-edged sword in that regard, though, where I feel like it's great for parents who are trying to take their kids to games, right? Who are trying to get to the ballpark with their young child because the game's going to go much faster. You're going to get more innings in. It's shit for parents who are at home trying to utilize watching our national pastime of baseball on television to pass the time in their life. Your Sunday nap of 3.5 hours has now been cut by an hour and a half down to 2 hours.
Dude, I don't think I've watched a full Ranger game on TV in 2 years.
Yeah, but that's because y'all have been trash. If you get better.
But not only that, but we have this whole, the rights, like the TV rights are owned by Bally Sports.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't get it here.
We don't get
I'm
Astros games here.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna legally stream a 4-hour game.
Yeah.
I might legally stream allegedly a fight or two, but
Yeah.
those are quick.
Sure.
Not gonna do a baseball game.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It feels like it's just more opportunities for my identity to get stolen.
It took me about 1.5 years to find a full-blown streaming loophole for the Astros that's not technically illegal, and I got there. Thank you.
A listener's login?
It's my brother.
Oh, shout out, Sam. Can I
yeah.
say his name?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, what's up, man?
But
Congrats.
yeah, so I finally got his shit, and now I can watch all the games. But it was a real pain in the ass before that because being in Austin, Texas, we get neither Rangers games or Astros games. It's fucking annoying. Really pisses me off. Also, in terms of rule changes, the bases are now larger. They're 18 inches square. It was previously 15 inches. So that decreases the distance between first, second, and third base by 4.5 inches. Home plate, which stays the same size, obviously, they're not going to make the strike zone even larger. But home plate to first base is 3 inches shorter.
What's the reasoning
For this, I think it's the same as everything else. Like the same reason for banning the shift. They want more offense. They want more runs scored. They want more base runners, right? They want more action because that's what people, keeps you awake.
Really devalues a catcher who can throw because it makes it that much more difficult, right?
I would think so.
How many inches do you say? How much closer is it?
So between like second and third, it's 4.5 inches shorter.
Okay.
Between first and second, same thing.
So yeah, it's in a game of inches, is what I've always said. That's the original quote I've said.
Sure. I think you're the first and only person to ever say that about baseball. But yeah, you know how many times you've been watching a baseball game and you see the super slow motion challenge of a guy sliding into second and barely gets his fingertip in before he's tagged or whatever? Like it's just gonna be that much easier.
And it always comes down on replay to like if they have a decent camera view.
Yeah, have the right angle.
A real bang bang call is what they say.
Sure. What's the name of the pitcher y'all picked up?
DeGrom.
DeGrom.
Abion DeGrom.
Yeah.
Jacob DeGrom.
Jacob.
And we also got Odorizzi, who I think the Astros actually shelled for like many, many runs last season. And they were laughing when we picked him up. But he's looked pretty good so far, I think.
Odorizzi?
Yeah.
Do you pronounce it correctly? Odorizzi?
I was joking. It's Odorizzi.
Odorizzi.
Yeah, I didn't want to over.
We got old Odorizzi out there on the mound again.
Yeah. So, look. We're spending money. We're making moves. I think we're going to be competitive next year. This year will be watchable, but I think realistically next year we'll maybe play for a wild card. That's all I can hope for. That's where I'm at with my baseball fandom.
Hey, baby steps forward, man. I remember back in I can't remember what year it was, several years ago when the Astros were the worst team in the league.
Full rebuild.
Totally unwatchable.
Tanking every other year.
It was a living hell for a 3-year stretch where I could not watch more than an inning, and then eventually I just stopped watching Major League Baseball altogether because I'm one of these people where like I'm not a Major League Baseball fan in general. If the Astros are absolute shit to the point they're unwatchable, I'm fucking out on the season. Like I don't even keep up with it, and I'm terrible in this way. I admit that.
And honestly, with y'all's rebuild, because it went on for so long, and obviously it worked. You're watching guys, and you're seeing guys, and even if they're really good, you know those guys are going to get flipped.
They're not going to
move
be there.
those guys for prospects for because they don't fit the window.
Yeah.
So you're just like
don't
watching these people and you're like, well, don't get too attached. They're gone.
Falling in love with players that are never going to matter in the long-term
exactly.
history of your franchise.
Exactly.
Which is where I'm at now with both the Rockets and Texans, which is good fun.
Who's the dude who just got hurt today? Musgrove. He was a Astros rebuild pitcher who was quite good. Gave y'all a good year. Maybe this is like after the rebuild.
I think we had a couple
Joe
people
Musgrove.
that we got rid of that went on to be pretty solid.
He dropped a weight on his big toe, broke his toe.
Oh
recently.
no!
Yeah. So we're thinking good thoughts. Shout out to his family.
Yeah. Shout out to the Musgroves.
Love me the Padres. It's my West Coast team. Everybody knows that.
Thoughts and prayers. Anyway, baseball season. That's good.
Hey,
Sports
before
talk.
we go
yeah.
forward, am I muting the right mic? I'm muting two.
Yeah, I think so.
Because if I'm muting yours, then I'm going to be we're going to have a problem.
Oh, that would be strange.
I've done two every time.
Do you want to test it?
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, we can check.
Test 2. Yeah. I'm still popping up on there, so you're good.
Yeah, we work it out on the air, folks.
That's right.
Sorry.
Transparency.
Apologize. I've got this scratchiness going on, and I apologize to the listeners.
If you hear Dave hacking up a lung in the background, it's because he smoked 1,000 cigarettes in Las Vegas. He just doesn't want to tell you that.
Yeah, it's always a good idea when your like whole family's coming off of an illness the prior 2 weeks to go to a smoky casino for 3 nights.
That's what you want.
It's really smart.
Dave, you've got a mustache, so you know a thing.
Thanks.
You know a thing or two about facial hair maintenance. This may shock you, but Manscaped, the company you all know and love for maintaining your downstairs mix-up, is now selling beard products. That's right, folks. It's breaking news. Manscaped is now selling beard products. They've gone from waist to face. To help you replace that bulky razor with their brand new Beard Hedger Pro Kit, Manscaped helps you get the golden rod of a Greek god. And now they've created the best tools for you to turn heads with a clean, perfectly groomed, and conditioned beard. Finally, tame your mane by going to manscaped.com and using our code RBP for 20% off plus free shipping. Today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped, and this kit is about to change your life. The Beard Hedger Pro Kit has made it easier than ever to draft and craft your signature look on your face. This kit will take your facial hair anywhere from Gandalf to totally bare. First off, the waterproof cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more
so
messy
many lengths.
Yeah, but have you like my beard trimmer that I used to use before I picked up the Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit had like 7 different guards, and that was a massive pain in the ass keeping track of all of them. So this is just one guard.
You've got the perfect amount of stubble right now.
That's because of this fucking
It looks
beard
good.
trimmer, dude.
That's a good length. I need to pick this up.
I'm telling you, this thing is awesome. No more drawers full of 20 different guards. With 20 lengths, it's never been so easy to find your signature beard look. Plus, the trimmer has a titanium-coated T-blade that is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single-stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. Just like me.
They used to call you T-blade.
Yeah, the Pro Kit is much more than a trimmer, though. It comes with 4 dermatologist-tested formulations for your post-trim care. It's got the beard shampoo and conditioner, Manscaped's beard oil, their beard balm. Plus, the Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So 20% off and free shipping with our code RBP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use our code RBP. The Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit, the premier solution to facial grooming. Dave, you brought up smoking the ganj and how that can, potentially lead to memory loss earlier in the show. And I have been microdosing THC.
Okay.
At night,
Welcome.
which if you told me I'd be doing that, even 2 years ago, I would have taken a bong rip and blown smoke in your face and told you to go fuck yourself.
He's done that to me at least once.
Yeah, that's how I usually greet you. But oddly, it's like extremely helpful, man. Like look, I'm not really in a place in life right now where I'm trying to get zooted out of my fucking mind. And
you got a kid. You got 2 of them.
I want to relax without going nuts with it. So I've been testing out the microdosing waters.
Well, we're happy to have you, brother, because that is exactly what I'm doing. That's the only way I'm doing it. We've got a sponsor. I won't name drop, but that's their whole bit. It's like we make a microdose, and it's like 2.5 milligrams THC. So if you want to turn it up a little bit, just take 2 of them, or if you want to get loco, take 4.
Right.
But I do this, no lie, like almost every night, at least every weeknight, because it relaxes me and it helps me sleep.
Have you ever fucked with, like, obviously when you think of microdosing, you think of like the mushrooms, the shroom microdosing. Have you done this? Have you heard about this?
I have. I've actually been doing it this week.
Hey.
Yeah.
David, are you high on mushrooms right now?
I take such a low amount that I've never actually had, like, I've never been on mushrooms to the point to where I was like seeing the walls melt.
Where you were tripping balls?
Never. And I have no desire to do that. But of course, me being the curious, washed up lad that I am, I'm always looking for a new edge. And like,
yeah, you're a bit of a health nut, I would say, in this regard.
I just like to, I don't know. I don't want to lose a step, especially in our business. Like, you gotta be sharp. So yeah, I've done it a little bit. I did it for the first time, like when I was out with friends, like somebody gave me something, like, oh, this, I was like, oh, this will help me like be more social and stay out longer.
Sure.
And it did. But doing it in the morning, just a little bit,
right,
helps me feel more alert.
That's what, like, not to throw his personal business out there, but this is what Content Cade, producer Cade, has been doing, the psilocybin microdosing in the morning. And it's like it's like 4 days on, 3 days off or something like that.
Is that what they recommend?
I think so.
It's good to know.
Something like that.
I've been just kind of freestyling, seeing what works. I've got a blend.
You're a wild man.
Well, this is real wild. So I do a blend. The person that I acquire these from, they do like multiple kinds of mushrooms. So there's psilocybin, but there's also like mushrooms you could go get at Whole Foods, like
functional
lion's
ones,
mane,
yeah.
cordyceps.
Hey,
big player.
The Last of Us.
Shout out Last of Us.
Yeah.
We're
all gonna die.
How about that episode, man?
Which one? The last one?
Yeah,
that was tough.
It was fine.
Tough looks.
It was fine. But yeah, so I'm feeling good on it. I need to like, I'm actually like, I've been not doing it for weeks and weeks, and then last week I got some, and now I'm trying it out this week, and so far so good.
I'm looking for. I want to do the psilocybin microdosing at some point. I was kind of waiting until hopefully my sleep schedule gets back to a semi-normal place one day, like in the next 6 months. I'm hoping for that, and then I wanted to try, because I'm just not trying to give my mind anything else to deal with right now than what I've already got going on, because it's a lot, as you know, like especially with the newborn, bro. Your sleep is really inconsistent. The problem is you don't get, like, there's no 8-hour night. Like, that's waved bye-bye, right, from my life right now. It's not a thing anymore. And I, even when, like, I don't have the titties, so I'm not the one nursing him at night, but
not anymore.
I still wake up because it's like he gets fussy, wakes her up. She's rolling around in the bed to, like, get the baby situated or whatever. And so I wake up, and it's not, I'm getting like 3-4 hour stretches, and I'm sleeping pretty good. And as I've admitted, it's much harder on my wife than it is on me. But it's still one of those things you feel the next day. And then when you stack those days up for 3 weeks, a couple months, whatever, it starts to just fucking slowly grind you down to where you're in. Like, when I get home from work, like, typically back in the day, even a few months ago, I'd get home from work, be like, all right, maybe I work out, maybe I shoot some hoops, play some video games. No, there's nothing left in the tank at this point. Nothing.
Yeah, it really interrupted my Call of Duty nights.
My
which
gaming
is probably
schedule's
a good
fucked.
Because now I'm getting to bed at a better time, but I have no time to game. I've got a Switch, and I've been playing a little bit on that.
You got a Switch?
Yeah.
They look really awesome. I've never fucked
with one.
It's tight.
I got it for Christmas. My parents got it for me.
No shit.
Yeah, I wanted to feel like a kid again, so I was like, I want a Nintendo.
This makes your parents sound incredibly awesome. They hooked you up with a Switch for Christmas.
It was a good gift. I'm a lucky guy.
Yeah. Wow. I need to look into that, because, I mean, honestly, when we were like a couple weeks out from having the baby, I realized already, like, well, this gaming PC I have is completely useless. Like, I'm never going to get to go down here and use this thing ever again.
I forgot you had that.
And I thought about ordering like a PS5 or something, because I was like, how do I get video games and like really look if you're like fucking nerd. No, I'm just trying to keep some version of fun in my life that is not work or relationship related. And that's the problem is right now there's no time or energy for any of that shit. So I'm not like golfing. I'm not going to the bars. I don't drink anymore. I'm out here microdosing THC so I don't fucking get too stoned and make an ass of myself. And so I can like keep sharp and do all my shit because I'm already dealing with dad brain. And I need something. I've got to have fucking something, right?
Yes.
And that's why I thought about getting the PS5, but then I checked the prices and was just like, I can't justify this.
Yeah,
I already
they're a
spent
lot.
X amount on the goddamn PC. I can't.
Yeah, I think the stigma of like video games and people that play them, that's gone, right? Because I mean,
Slowly going away,
when
yeah.
our mutual friend Dylan, my co-host on Circling Back,
Yeah, Dylan Shiver.
when he got into gaming, that's when I was like, okay. 'Cause
Now
that's
it's
a dude who,
mainstream.
if you talked to him a decade ago, he would have like slapped you for even asking if he games.
Yeah, he would regularly make fun of gamers and call us all nerds.
But he is like, or was Call of Duty, doing solo not campaigns, but solo
Drops.
drop-ins. And he got pretty
psychotic.
good at it. He got really good at solo
No
drops.
shit,
He was
okay.
a camper, but that's fine.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive and thrive,
Yeah.
you know?
Facts.
Yeah. You brought up The Last of Us. What have you been watching outside of that
Love Island
and Love
Last
Island?
of Us.
Any good movies lately? I watched Dune again last night, and this is one of those movies that I throw on like once a month now. Did you ever see Dune?
I did. I watched it and I don't really remember. I don't remember it. I should watch it.
The
again.
first time I watched it, I remember being like, I don't really understand what's happening. And then now I've probably seen it 10 times because for some reason it's become one of these movies I throw on at night that helps me relax. And I fucking love it. Like it came out in 2021, so I feel like it didn't get nearly as much love as it would have otherwise because it was middle of the pandemic when nobody was going to the fucking theater. And this was definitely a movie theater movie. But to me, it's on the level of like, you know, just to throw one out that recently all these people got stoked about, like Avatar Way of Water, which I haven't seen yet. I'm just assuming. But I looked up the box office for Dune, and it did like 450 million or something like that. I feel like on a normal year, it would have been up there next to $1 billion or crossing the $1 billion mark. So it just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because nobody was going to the fucking movies.
No,
Remember?
it's weird now because you get so many movies that are just going straight to like Netflix or different platforms that it's very easy to overlook stuff. Unless it like hits that wave of pop culture where everybody's talking about it,
Yeah.
you know?
It's tough to get people to the theater these days.
I'm a big documentary guy.
Oh,
People
yeah.
know that. And
You and Jared, J-Bone, big documentary
shout
guy.
out J-Bone, Bone Zone. I have not gotten into the Murdaugh stuff. You familiar with this? The murders?
Yeah.
The Murdaugh family?
The wife started watching this. I don't know anything about it really though.
I've avoided it because when I heard the story, I was like, this is like the worst story I've ever heard. The guy killed his family, whatever. But like it's a very prominent Carolina family, apparently, lawyers, politicians, all that.
If he like murdered his wife and kids.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know if it was 2 kids or just 1 or whatever. He's on trial now. My mom's watching it. She's keeping me up to date.
She's watching the trial?
When I talked to her, she's like, did you see the testimony today? I'm like, I didn't. Wasn't watching it. But now there's an HBO doc and there's a Netflix doc. So I'm probably going to do HBO just because I trust them a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you can't go wrong. But I'm late to this. I know. People have been like in the true crime world.
Yeah.
People have been on this for months.
See, this is one of the areas I'm slipping. Like, I feel like the true crime stuff used to be pretty top of mind for me. Especially when it was the hot one that everybody was watching. Like, I was always right
Robert
there.
Blake.
I was with the, yeah, for sure. I was with the mainstream and keeping up with that shit. And now I'm just like, I find out, you know, from my washed friend on my podcast.
Yeah, who's already like many, many months late to this story. That's a perfect microcosm of my show circling back, our show. Not ours.
Being a few months
Will,
late.
and Dylan. Yeah, we're very late on stuff.
That's what it happens though. That's the thing about it. That's like it's pretty unavoidable. I mean, I remember being 25 and saying like, you know what, the technology is never going to pass me by because I grew up with it. I grew up with video games. I grew up with cell phones. I grew up with the internet. I grew up with technology. It's never going to pass me by. And now it has started to. And I remember saying, I'm never going to be out of the loop on pop culture. I'm always going to know what the new it thing is or what the hot doc is or what the fuck ever. And I don't anymore. I don't know shit. It's falling apart. I'm losing it. And I feel old as hell.
Yeah, it'll get better.
Do you just
once you
just
start
accept
sleeping?
it?
Well, once you start sleeping the whole night, the kid will start sleeping the whole night, and your life will dramatically increase.
Right
like
now, I'm in
quality.
the stage where I'm telling myself that's never going to happen and just trying to make peace with this new lifestyle.
It's
Because that's all you can do is lie to yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly. There's a lot of that going on. I remember the first night we brought Rhodes home from the hospital. Rhodes is my son. It's with a D, not Rose. Some people are like Rose.
Rose?
And I'm like, no, it's not. He apparently wasn't getting fed enough, and we didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he scream cried the entire night, and I remember just sitting there on the end of the bed like shell shocked. And it was so bad that our dog Randy, known to some as Rah Rah,
Yeah.
who always sleeps in our bedroom, usually on our bed, he just got up and went
Fuck this.
downstairs.
I'm out.
And just was like, I'm sleeping down here tonight. And
You
I
guys
was
call
like,
me when you get your shit together.
Yeah. It was very sad. I looked down there and he was just like on the couch. I was like, oh no.
There have been a couple nights where our big dog, Harvey, who's a 90-pound Doberman mix, where he's looked over at me and been like, go fuck yourself, and gotten up and like, he's like, whatever this
Yeah.
thing is you brought home, I'm not with it. And fortunately, he's got a bed like downstairs that he goes and sleeps in. But the three little dogs, they like refuse to abandon ship. And sometimes I wish they would, because they're all three in the bed and I can't move my fucking legs because they don't sleep on my wife's side anymore because she's got to get up to feed the baby. And now they know that. So they've just been trained to dominate my side of the bed. And it's just not going great for me sleep-wise.
Extreme Rex Chapman tweet voice. Dogs, bruh.
Exactly. Today's episode is also brought to you by Indochino. Wedding planning is intimidating, but finding the perfect suit shouldn't be. Indochino makes it easy to get a fully customizable suit right from home. Don't wear just any suit on your big day. With dozens of high thread count fabrics, patterns, and colors to choose from, Indochino helps you design a suit perfectly tailored to your body and your personality. I've got a couple weddings coming up this year, Jared's included, assuming that I get invited. And as many of you know, on a day-to-day basis, I'm a pretty casual dresser, just I wear t-shirts, man, which is why when it comes to looking my best on big days, I trust Indochino for all my more formal needs. I can tell you personally, the Indochino experience is incredible, whether you go to one of their showrooms and get measured up or you do it from home. I have done both now. I've been to the Indochino in Austin, their brick and mortar store, the first time through. But for my most recent order, I measured myself at home, checked out all their wares strictly online, and the end result is still the best custom experience I have ever had in terms of clothing. Many of you complimented me on my green Indochino suit when I posted photos on social media. You can still see that pretty close to the top of my Instagram page. That one was ordered offline, did not even go to the store. Indochino lets you design the suit you've always wanted and fine-tune every detail from lapel to linings, monograms to pocket flaps and more, with suits starting at just $499 and fitted shirts at $89. It is bespoke without the premium price tag. When planning your wedding, get a suit as unique as you with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code RBP to get 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code RBP. So, next question. Who is your favorite stand-up comic right now, now that Norm is gone? Rest in peace. I still haven't watched his final stand-up, by the way. The special he put together.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it. I can't bring myself to watch it. It's like the last episode. Like I never watched the final episode of Deadwood because I didn't want it to be over.
Oh man.
And as such, I never watched the movie.
I need to do a Deadwood rewatch.
It rules.
God, it was a good show.
Love that show, you cocksucker. But yeah, but I don't know. Stand-up is just in a weird place right now because of the TikTok age. It's like everything is just about making clips, right, for TikTok and Instagram.
I hate it. Since Norm passed, I do have the comedians I like, but I'm not watching nearly as much stand-up as I did.
In terms of specials, right?
Big Shane Gillis fan.
I like him.
He's great.
He's solid.
Stav used to be in Come Town.
Okay, that dude is in my probably top 3 right now. Stavros, what's his last name?
It's very Greek.
Halkias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost said Montopoulos, like the exit off of Ben White.
The fat rascal.
But yeah, I think Stav is somebody whose Instagram clips, his reels, I get served all the time, and I'll watch him because it's him mainly doing crowd stuff.
Does a lot of crowd work, yeah.
And it's always funny. And he makes it funny because he's got like the most infectious laugh.
Dude.
He was, I mean.
So jolly.
He was great on Come Town. But yeah, I'm pretty much, those two I'm into. And then, I mean, Nick Mullen also on Come Town. I get his clips from time to time, but I haven't watched there's Louis C.K. has one, right?
Yeah, he's got a new special.
I haven't brought myself to watch that yet.
Yeah, look, obviously Louis went through his controversy or whatever, continues to. I don't know how, everybody feels differently about that depending on where you sit with cancel culture, I suppose. But I always felt weird with him because it's like so many of his jokes were sexual and like about jacking his disgusting dick. And then it turned out he was like,
Weird.
I don't know. It just weirded me out. So I never really went back to Louis. I miss him. He was my number one. So it was like.
He was atop the comedy world for a time. And
oh, yeah.
If Chappelle puts something out, I'll watch it because I feel like I owe it to him to watch it.
Sure.
But like,
it's just the same shit. I feel like he hasn't written anything since 2018. He just gets up there and riffs on like trans rights.
I know. I just don't. Anytime a comedian brings up like cancel culture, something's like, dude,
fuck off. Do we have to?
Stop.
Do we have to? It's like how
sounds
people
like talking to like someone's grandpa.
It's like when I brought up politics too much in 2020, and people that love this show because it was an escape from that were like, "Do we have to?" And now I understand because every time one of my favorite comedians brings up fucking cancel culture, I'm just like, dude. Can we move on? Can we move the fuck on? It's been 3 years we've been doing this.
It's not even that like what they're saying is something I necessarily disagree with that hard. It's just more like this is so played out. It's so played out.
Well, and it just strikes me as a red flag at this point. Like if you're out there on the front lines of being anti-cancel culture, I feel like it's almost definitely because you've got something in your closet that you're worried about people inevitably finding out about.
Yeah.
So I don't want to commit to you because too many of my favorite comics and musicians and the combination of Kanye and Louis C.K. both going down in flames and then Dave deciding Chappelle, not you, deciding he was going to do 3 straight specials on trans stuff. I just completely lost it. Like, I can't commit to any celebrities at this point because they keep breaking my fucking heart.
No.
So and now if you're bringing up cancel culture, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't watch your shit. I'm sorry.
Then we traded for Kyrie.
And then the Mavs traded for Kyrie.
And I'm just like, okay. Yeah, Kanye was, that was tough, man. And it was, months after that documentary that was awesome.
I know. I got back on the wagon because of that documentary.
And he was like, I mean, that guy was atop my Spotify playlist every year.
It's a huge bummer.
It's not like I'm going to not listen to his stuff, but it's just I'm not as excited about it because
he hates the Jews.
Because he's just very anti-Semitic.
Yeah, he's got some really, really controversial thoughts about the Jews and Hitler and the Nazi Party, which is...
Went on Alex Jones and made Alex Jones uncomfortable.
I don't know why.
You just don't see too often.
A closet is an awkward place to be now.
I did see Alex Jones at Nordstrom one time.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I was at Nordstrom. I was at Nordstrom Bistro.
Oh, he lives here in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. I was at the E-Bar getting coffee, and in walks Alex Jones with a lady and a child, and he was very loud, and I was just like, man, of all places to see like the Info Warrior Nordstrom, like the highest end department store in the mall.
Yeah.
It was just hilarious. I'm like, is he gonna go buy some like $200 jeans, some like pre-tattered and torn? Like,
well, this is before his bankruptcy, I assume, so probably.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. As far as comics go, Sam Morrill, Morril, is a dude I get served a ton of clips from that I started watching his stuff, and sort of in the same vein as like Stavros, that's like this new age of guys that came up and like took over the scene. Andrew Schultz is in there too. He's another one that I've been keeping up with pretty regularly.
I get served his stuff too.
He's funny as hell. Bill Burr is still up there for me, and like, to name another OG, like Ricky Gervais is still one of the goats. I still love him. He doesn't do specials very often though.
The
right?
last time I ate too much THC, I did a 10 milligram chocolate edible, and I watched his like stand up set from like 5 years ago, and it ended up I just was on another planet. And I don't know if I can watch another Ricky Gervais stand up.
Chappelle, I'm out on for now. I can't fucking do it anymore. It's all the cancel culture shit, just nonstop. Andrew Santino, the redhead that's in Little Dicky's crew, that's on the show Dave, right? Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
Seen this guy? Have you heard about this guy? He is. He's gotten really good. Like over the last couple of years, I started following him more and more. Very, very funny guy. Got a new special out right now, I believe.
Lil Sass.
I love him, dude, at Barstool.
He's phenomenal. I haven't seen a lot of his stand-up, but I see enough of his bits on Twitter and Instagram. I'm like, oh, this kid's hilarious.
Yeah, he's one of those people that if you know content pretty well, like you and I do, you know, like because we do.
Oh, he's got it.
Then you watch his content or his bits on Twitter, and you know, like his stand-up has to be pretty solid at this point.
Yeah.
And he's in New York City. He's one of those guys out there that's like grinding the what's it, open mic nights and shit, I feel like.
Got to get your reps, bro.
Yeah. Tom Segura is solid, but I'm not a Bert Kreischer guy, who's the guy he does his podcast with, obviously, The Machine.
Yeah.
I can't with Bert, but I like Tom.
I like them both. The Rogan universe introduced me to those guys.
Yeah. Both Joe Rogan podcast repeat guests.
Yes.
Over the years, many, many times.
Yeah.
I was a Mark Normand guy for a little bit, but now he just gives me anxiety. It's like secondhand. I can tell he's anxious as a performer, and it rubs off on me.
Yeah. I understand that. I get that. That is a big factor. I'm like, what kind of delivery are we looking at from this like new comedian I'm going to check out? Like, I'll know within the first 5 minutes if I'm going to be in on this guy.
That's what I love so much about Stavros. You mentioned like the laugh and whatnot, but it's very laid back. It's very fun. Like at no point are you like, oh God, is he about to bomb? That just doesn't happen. He has like the confidence and stage presence that you would want in a stand-up comic to entertain you for a night, which is why I would go see him. I think his show is actually coming here at some point. If tickets aren't, insane and I can find somebody to babysit 2 kids.
Awesome.
So no, I won't go see him.
I'll just $1,000 a pop.
I'll stream it, or something. Bobby Lee is another guy that I love his clips. I watch his clips a lot, but I have never watched his actual stand-up, and I'm not sure I could stomach it.
Okay.
I don't know how it would translate.
So you're way deeper in the game than I am. And it's just apathy set in after Norm passed, and I just haven't. You
haven't gone back?
I haven't found the joy in it outside of those few people I named, but
maybe one day,
Maybe one day, man. Yeah.
Don't give up hope, Dave.
Take me back.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Liquid IV. If you're trying to improve your health, hydration is a great place to start, and Liquid IV is the hydration brand that fuels your well-being. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than with water alone. Use it first thing in the morning before a workout, when you feel run down after a long night out, and on long flights. We have a massive supply of Liquid IV here at Bolin Media, which keeps producer Kate and I probably the most hydrated people possibly in the entire world. Not only is Liquid IV incredibly effective as a hydration tool, it tastes phenomenal as well, with a variety of great flavors like Concord grape, lemon lime, pina colada, tropical punch, watermelon, strawberry, and passion fruit. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone, containing B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. That's 5 essential vitamins with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks, made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Liquid IV is also on a mission to change the world to date, having donated over 25 million servings in 50-plus countries around the world. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code ROSS at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code ROSS at liquidiv.com.
Can I shoehorn something into this episode?
Do it.
What are we going to do about this new Woody Harrelson movie?
Which one? Oh, dude, I don't know.
Is this... Who?
I don't know.
Are we doing this? Didn't we do this with Johnny Knoxville at Texas State? Remember, they filmed some of it in The Ringer at our football field. And that movie is I think, widely regarded as one of the worst movies ever. It's so uncomfortable.
But that was mostly a comedy. This is a feel-good comedy that Woody's doing.
I'm sure there's...
It's like a pure message. Have you watched the trailer? It's like... I don't even know. It's less comedy even than like the Mighty Ducks. Remember how the Mighty Ducks was like, this lawyer goes and takes this ragtag band of kids and they form a team.
Shit.
Yeah. DWI.
This drunk fuck who hates himself.
This is like, it's Woody Harrelson coaching special needs kids, but also getting his life together.
Okay.
And that's the movie.
So it's like it's a combo of The Ringer and Ted Lasso.
Yes, but it's like self-aware where the special needs kids are like making special needs jokes that like regular people, like not regular, that's not the word. Non-special needs people can't make those jokes.
Okay.
And forgive me if I'm using any not incorrect terminology here, but like go watch just Google Woody Harrelson special needs movie and watch the trailer and try to make sense of if it's like a comedy or if it's it's like I watched it a few times because I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'll let my wife. She taught special ed for more than a decade, and I'll let her like make the determination on if this was a good idea or not. But I just saw
in terms of a career move,
caught me real off guard when I saw the trailer. I was like, huh.
I mean, it's not what I expected
right.
when I watched True Detective Season 1 and went, holy shit, McConaughey and Woody Harrelson have elevated their careers to another level. I didn't think within a decade I'd be turning on the trailers section of my Apple TV and see Woody Harrelson coaching a basketball team. Like, I just don't, I really don't understand what happened either.
I'm sure it's a tearjerker.
And I'm sure
I'm a guy who cries.
It has to be a personal project for him. Look, I'm not taking a knock and saying nobody should do a movie like this. I'm saying I wouldn't have expected Woody fucking Harrelson.
I'm just saying that I've got a bad taste in my mouth from The Ringer, and not the Bill Simmons outlet, but the movie.
I feel like that didn't age well. The Ringer.
No, it's
with Johnny Knoxville.
Your fantasy football punishment should be you have to rewatch the Ringer start to finish by yourself.
Yeah,
That's the worst you could ever do.
I don't feel like that one gets touted as like a culturally appropriate film.
No, we know people who are extras in it though. They get to go sit in the stands at Jim Wacker
Yeah,
Field.
old Jim Wacker Field. They filmed The Ringer at Texas State. I'm not sure if we've made that clear enough.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the claim to fames of our university.
Hell yeah, George Strait, Alexis, Texas.
George Strait, Alexis, Texas, LBJ, you and me.
You and me, Kyle Park. Dylan Shivery.
Kyle Park. Is he still out there getting it?
Yeah, I think so. And yeah.
Speaking of talented people, what the hell do I do about getting another co-host in here? I can't. I've gone through 4 in like 5 years. Jared's living in Wisconsin now. I hired his brother Jeff, effective yesterday. So
what's he doing?
He's doing all the video production and editing for Formula Bone, our F1 show.
So that's a creative feller.
He is, and they're ridiculous together. But like, not only did I lose firepower myself when Jared moved, I also hired him more firepower and have yet to do so for me. So I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I think you need to hire someone who's musically inclined, and by that I mean who can have like a synthesizer and maybe do like hit you with a beat.
That'd be
a timely beat, a timely sound effect. Who knows how to like hit drops, introduce those into your show.
Soundbite guy would be tight.
Yeah. I think that would be interesting. I don't even think you need a co-host, but I know you prefer it that way.
I would prefer to be able to talk to somebody beside myself.
My favorite co-host of yours was, I love J-Bone, but J-Bone doesn't work at one of my favorite Italian restaurants now.
Yeah.
And hook me up every time I go in there.
Cole's.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
Dude, Cole's, for those of you who remember Chris Colson, if you listened during that era, awesome dude. He works at Sammy's Italian in Austin now, which I had never had. He kept hitting me up being like, when you get time, you got to come through. The Ruffs come in all the time. They're like my regulars. And I was just like, okay. That was almost demotivating. I was like, well, I'm not going to step on Dave and his wife's toes by like hitting their restaurant.
Let's make a res.
Okay, listen though. Well, first of all, yes, please. But second of all, Cole's came by like 3-4 days after we got home from the hospital, and he dropped off a meal of Sammy's like to go.
Oh boy.
And we were blown the fuck away.
Dude, it's very good.
And I'm a big Italian food guy. I've had a lot of Italian food over the years. And this shit was so good, man. Like I texted him and was like, I'm not sucking your dick. This is amazing.
I've sent that text.
It's yeah, we all have, right? But it was shocking.
Did you get the mozzarella sticks or the mozzarella
Yes.
sticks?
What the fuck was that?
Those are shockingly good because you think like, okay, I've had mozzarella sticks. How can you fuck these up? And how could they be any better than what I got at Applebee's? Turns out they are better.
Oh, they're so much better. Yeah, no, but like, this would have been a meal that I would have been impressed by if I was in the physical fucking restaurant. And this shit was brought to me in my house.
That's nice.
And it still melted my brain. I was just like, wow.
Man, we need to have another kid so maybe he'll drop some stuff by. But yeah, shout out to him. He'll come over, bring me some grappa, something, maybe just say hi to the table. He's always working the bar. One night I want to do my favorite thing, and that's not my favorite thing as I am a father and husband, but I do like going to restaurant bars and sitting at the bar alone and just having a couple glasses of wine and eating like either steak or just having a good meal by myself.
A little solo sesh.
Yeah, it's something that in my 20s would have never done. Was way too insecure to go sit at a bar solo.
Sure.
And now I'm like,
that's adult me time.
Do it every
baby.
now and then. It's kind of like it makes you feel like you're on a work trip. You get a little freedom.
Yeah.
Go mix it up with the bartender. Watch whatever game they got on the TV, and you're just like, oh, Paul George, is he gonna do it this year?
See if you can get some response.
Like, I don't even watch basketball, my guy. And you're just like, yeah, Kawhi.
Please don't talk to me, sir. Please don't engage me. Yeah. Maybe I just wing it by myself in here and bring in different people like you every episode. Maybe I throw an American Idol-esque competition and do tryouts, but I don't think I have time for that. I could also just start practicing voices.
What do you want in a co-host? What's your ideal candidate?
I mean,
talk it through.
I need somebody who's able to keep me rolling on the show, right? So somebody who's got a good enough sense of humor to keep me focused on comedy and interjecting with jokes and shit. But that really the next thing and the thing that I've lacked since the show was launched, because I didn't even have this with Micah back in the day, I need somebody who's focused only on growing it, right? So like, because when I'm not in here, I can't also be the guy who's doing all of the marketing and all of the strategy and all of the writing and all of the fucking segments. Like I've got to get somebody who can actually work on the thing. Yeah. Which has always been like, as I look at y'all at Washed and in particular at the Circling Back podcast, after about 6 months of doing this for Bolin Media for my own company, I started to get real jealous of y'all because I was like, fuck. I mean, it's just easier. You know how it is when you've got a rapport with people. Like when you and I do an episode of this show, it's incredibly easy for me compared to like if I'm interviewing a guest I've never met or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you got three guys and you're all funny and you can all carry your own bits and you're all good at this, like that's a whole different ball game than sitting here talking to yourself for an hour and 15 minutes like I did last Friday. It's
I would
hell.
be very bad at that. I've learned one thing, and so we have a sports pod that I host. It's called Too Much Dip. And it's me, Dylan, and our friend KJ Ellis, also lives in Wisconsin. But having to like help with the clip cutting process. And it's like, hey, what do you think would be a good clip from that? And I'm like, oh fuck, okay. and I overthink it, and like when we put them out, this has happened a couple of times. We've had a couple clips go like do pretty well on Instagram the last month. Shout out to Cool Adam, our clip guy. And like when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, this isn't that great. It's just I was like, I'm a critic of myself. I'm like, I'm not that funny in this, and like
didn't like my take.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm like I don't really. I think this was like a C level effort for me, and then of course they go off. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I need to just fuck off and trust people.
You can never tell with social media, man. There's clips where I'm like, that was hilarious. This is gonna crush. That do nothing for me,
dude. That's how I feel.
It's so frustrating. You just have to let it go.
I think what it is, it's like kind of what makes guys like you and me good is that some of our comedy's niche, and like we found the niche. And maybe it doesn't have the most mass appeal. I'm actually really talking about myself here. I've kind of come to terms with this because you're a more broad audience than me. But what I might find hilarious may do 10,000 views on Instagram. But if it's a clip of us talking about Jackson Mahomes and the Mahomes family versus the Eagles fans, turns out like hundreds of thousands of people are going to be into that.
Yeah.
And we caught it at the right time, and the comments on that are hilarious. It's always funny when you find that demographic, especially in sports, people who don't know who you are, and they just like, they don't like your take because you like made fun of their team.
Or they don't know you're kidding.
They just shit on you personally.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, oh yeah, this show with 4,000 Instagram followers. Yeah, I'm sure Pat really cares about this.
And dude, the worst thing about this, and this is something that Dave and I, you know, especially when you have a clip break through to the mainstream that you deal with, and I've dealt with a lot because that's been one of my big focuses. Y'all have like a very dedicated, long-standing audience that makes y'all so successful. Whereas I've cast a wider net in an effort to like be able to do this for a living, right? But every once in a while, you get one of these clips that goes off, and all these assholes who have no idea who you are that are like, dude, just cancel your podcast. You fucking suck at this. There's no way you should be attempting this show. And I want to say like, bitch, I make pretty good money and live in a really expensive city, and I have a solid house, and I'm doing pretty fucking good. Fuck you. But you can't say those things because it just makes it even worse.
It's like, did you see another clip we did something with. One of the Bosa brothers showing up to the AFC Championship game to root on, Nick, his brother.
Yeah.
And an Eagles fan walks up and is recording like, "Oh, Bosa, you're not playing today. What's wrong, buddy?" And he pulled the "I'm rich" card.
Yeah, the guy was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Get fined?" And he was like, "I can afford it because I crush it or whatever."
As soon as he went there, it's like, "Oh, this is not a good interaction for you, my friend."
You've lost. He lost in that moment.
You got to play along with it. But
I've been making content for, I don't know,
longer than me.
10 years or something now. The whole time I've been in Austin, so 11 years, and I still get the urge. Like, I still get the urge to tell random internet stranger,
dude.
like, "Bro, I'm making a living off this. What's wrong with you?
I don't
Go fuck yourself."
I don't like when somebody chirps me.
It sucks.
If it's funny, I will acknowledge it.
Oh, that's a different animal.
But if it's just like an unnecessary mean comment, like somebody on my Instagram I posted last week at DC Ruff on the gram, was like, "Oh, Dave, no offense, but you bricked this fit." And
damn, man,
and I was like,
unnecessary hate.
I was like, I was Sunday evening, Matt's El Rancho dinner. Wasn't really looking to get a fit off. Was wearing joggers and a t-shirt. I think it was my other Big Time Tommy t-shirt.
Sure.
I have two now. Two really smart purchases.
Hashtag Big Time Tommy.
Yeah, take it easy. And I was like, "Oh man, hey, thanks for chiming in, bud." And then I was like, I didn't need to do that. This kid's probably been listening for a while. I need to be better about
letting it go.
Because I am like probably the number one ball buster on circling back. So I should be able to take it better. But
it's hard though.
I was like, at least be funny.
The worst thing about it, you just hit on, is after you accidentally break and you respond, then there's this wave of guilt that's like, "I'm better than this. I'm bigger than this. Why did I give them what they wanted?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
And
I know better."
I'm going to look at when you post reels of this show. I'm going to look.
There's going to be some asshole.
People are gonna go out of their way now to smoke me, and that's fine. They'll be like, "Oh, this guy, the cough guy, the guy who can't stop coughing." Yeah,
guy's
man,
hacking up a lung. Dude. Great show. Yeah.
Shout out to y'all, RBP Nation.
That'll do it for today's show. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. Please unload all of your self-promotional information now.
Well, first of all, congratulations to you. Congratulations to your brother Sam on being an uncle.
Yeah. He got married too.
He did get married. Congratulations to
Japan.
Everybody. Why Japan?
I don't know. It was a soundbite from my show way back in the day. I still don't remember what it was from.
Oh, okay. Was it the Street Fighter voice?
I'll see if I can find it while you plug yourself.
If you want to find me on Instagram at DC Ruff. On Twitter.
Plug yourself good.
At D Carter Ruff. Not great that I don't have both of those locked down, but that's the way it is. Check out Washed Media. We've got a number of shows circling back. Too Much Dip podcast, Sunday Scaries, all that stuff. Will DeFreeze, Dylan Shivery, Reby, co-hosts. And, Brett Merriman, Randy, the boys. Check us out on Washed. And,
you'll have a great squad.
Oh, and look out for a special guest tomorrow. It's you.
Oh, yeah, it's me.
It's fucking you.
If you enjoy comedy, you will enjoy Circling Back, and I will be Dave and Will and Dylan's guest tomorrow on the Circling Back podcast, so make sure you tune in.
First time we've all done it together, right?
I don't think I'm pretty sure, and we can have a backer fact check us here, but I don't think I've ever been on the show when it was all three of you.
I'm almost positive that's the case.
It's at least maybe once way back in the day, but if so, I don't remember, and neither do y'all.
You filled in a number of times for us, but...
Mostly for Will when he's on vacation. When he's vacation, Will.
Vacation, Will. Then you got to call in Ross. You got to call in another big gun.
I found it, Dave. Congratulations to Japan. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody knows why, but
that's the drop. Those are the kind of drops we need your next co-host.
That's exactly right.
Off. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for being here. Please support our sponsors by hitting the links in the description of this episode and use our dedicated URLs. That is how we pay the bills here at Bolin Media and afford me the ability to do this full time and take shit from random people online. To check out our other shows, go to bolinmedia.com, hit bolinmedia.com/shop to grab yourself some merch. This episode of the Ross Bolin podcast is presented by Bolin Media. Video of today's episode was produced by Cade Orris. I will be back on Patreon this Friday, but that's it for now. Until next time, peace be with you and also with you.